Hey, agencies like you are missing private duty phone calls every single day. Hey, I'm Tracy Gowdy, the Home Care Growth Coach, and I want to talk to you today about the need to really scrutinize your inquiry process. What do I mean by that? When somebody calls into your agency, what does that process look like? And I mean fully look like, not just filling out an inquiry sheet or discovery form, whichever you call it, but is the environment around everybody quiet? Does everybody know the importance of that call? Do we tune everything out so that we can just focus on Mrs. Smith that's calling, or Mrs. Jones for her daughter for her mother that's calling, that her mom had a fall a week ago and she's getting released from the hospital and she has to leave and go back out of state where she lives and she needs somebody really good to take care of her? Are we really able to have the empathy and really tune in to what our client needs? Do we know that 75% of the time we should just be listening, 25% of the time asking really good questions, and 5% not even talking? Yeah, those are just some of the things that I teach in my 8-week program that is starting September the 9th. Now, the enrollment ends September 4th. But why am I doing this? Listen, my name is Tracy Gowdy, and I have had over 20 years experience in the private duty industry. I've owned 2 of my own home care agencies, and I sold them both. They were both very successful in their own ways, but we had some really tough times that I want to teach you how to avoid or get out of if you're already in them. And so I created this 8-week program that's got a total of 16 live classes. And in that 8 weeks, we're going to learn all about who is your avatar, who is your ideal client, how well do you and your staff know that client? Do you know how to talk to them, answer the phone, answer their questions? What's an affluent client look like? And why am I doing this? Because listen, I have only done private duty home care. That's all I've ever done. Private duty and long-term care insurance, private pay, that's it. I never have taken Medicaid waiver. I've never taken VA. I've never done any of those things. So I got really good at partnering with those affluent clients and their referral sources, their adult children, and the community. And it was our niche. Everybody knew that's what we did. And that's all we did. Now, I'm not saying you have to do what I did, but what I find when I go in and I'm doing consulting with my clients is that they might have a pay mixture, which is fine. But when they want me to come in and they want me to start turning things over to private pay because they realize they just don't want to take these swings of the Medicaid waiver industry and be caught up in the government with one swipe of the pen, they change everything and it radically shifts their agency, throws everybody into turmoil. Private pay offers that steady, consistent, stable resource that as long as you're doing a good job for your client, assuming that they're doing well, on their care plan and so forth, and we're doing a good job, they can stay with us indefinitely. I have clients that have stayed with me for years on 24-hour care. You know what a 24-hour care client is? 168 hours a week. And we didn't do live-in. So this was a hourly pay essentially, but we were doing 24 hours of care. That's 168 hours every single week. Sometimes depending on the client, that's anywhere from 150, we had him even up as $250,000 annually. Now, you can do that too, and I will tell you, doing it is the best thing that you can do for your agency because it's so hard to get caregivers in our industry and get really good quality ones that actually stay. But when we're doing bigger cases and we're doing private duty cases, you attract a kind of caregiver that wants to stay longer, and we're able to give them more routine, more consistent schedules. So yeah, they end up staying with us longer. That's a win for the agency, and that's a real win for the senior, because what's the number one thing they want? Consistency. Now, I teach all about this in my 8-week program. Again, it's coming up on September 9th, but you have to register by September the 4th. And we're going to walk through the sales, the marketing, the inquiry, the staffing. Now, we're not going to go dive deep into staffing because that's a whole other gamut in and of itself, but it's definitely going to give you enough to learn how to really match those caregivers with those clients so that you can really recognize, identify, and serve the affluent private pay market. Now, this is going to bring so much stability to your business, and it's so much easier than you think. Because like I said at the start of this, is that you're already missing calls for private pay clients. Listen, I go into agencies and I'm kind of a little mouse in the corner, and I hear their receptionist or their scheduler, whoever they have answering the phone, and they don't know how to discern if that's a private pay client, a Medicaid waiver client, a VA client, and they take them down the same path that they're used to instead of the one that controls the conversation, elicits the information that we need from the client so that we can direct the call and we can provide the best fit for them. And it saddens me when I see this happen. It saddens me primarily for the client, because the client walked away unserved. They needed help. That's the only reason anybody calls a home care agency. Nobody just does it for fun, right? They do it because they need help. But what I do is I go into agencies and I recognize those things and I train their staff, retrain their staff, and I take them through my very specific methodology on how to entertain, how to talk to, how to elicit the most information from private pay clients so that they feel really heard, they feel understood, they feel like this agency really cares, because we do. But they feel it because we're not all rushed and hurrying up and have a phone ringing off the hook and all this. I teach you how to settle in, settle down, and really pay attention to that client who really needs our help. So if you'd like to learn more about this 8-week program that's coming up, please click in the bio and you'll see a link and it says Private Pay Playbook. Click that link and it'll take you to the information so you can learn more. There's also a link in there that you can schedule a 30-minute discovery call with me. Maybe you'd like to learn more about the program, but you don't want to just purchase it when this is the first time maybe you've ever met me, and I totally understand that. And there's a way that you could just click that and you can go on and you can schedule a call with me so we can talk about it. Whether that's this or another service that I offer, I do consulting and leadership coaching and other things. So you can do that. And you can find my information also on my website at coachingbydesign.life. So, and if you really are not even ready for all of that, there's also a couple of free assessments that you can assess how stable is your agency, and what about your leaders? What's the leadership capacity for yourself and others? In this industry, we're also working in burnout. We're working in overwhelm. We have so many chaotic stresses coming at us all the time, families that are in chaos, and we're heroes. We really are heroes in the work that we do. And you can take these free assessments and just get a snapshot of where you stand. And you can always check with me if you want to go over the results, but whether you do or whether you don't, let it give you some insight as to where you and your agency stand now so you can start making progress forward. Because the stronger you and your agency are, is the stronger you are for the community for decades and decades to come. And that's ultimately my goal. So again, if you want to look into the 8-week class that's getting ready to come up, the workshop, you'll find the link below. You can also visit my website at coachingbydesign.life. You'll find the information there, as well as a lot of other things about me and how I help take companies that want to gain more private pay clients, and I take them. For the last 2 agencies I've worked with, just for example, they started at 900 hours and within 3 months we were at 1,200 hours, and that's consistently. And then we just continue to climb. The next one started at, I think it was 1,200 hours, and within 3 months we're at 1,500 hours. We didn't do any extra marketing. It was by me just teaching. So the small amount that it costs to get into my 8-week course, which will never be this low again because this is my beta test, this is my first one, and I want to have a really mindful cohort of people who are really excited to learn these principles and put them into practice in their own business so that we can all celebrate together and see the results. Because that way we can serve more people and our caregivers are not going to be so stressed, neither is our scheduler, because it's so much easier to schedule and manage the way that I'm going to be teaching you in my workshop. So join the link, get the link, join today so that you can learn more about this. And I promise you, for anything that you invest in this program, it's going to come out 10 times, 100 times greater than whatever you could ask, think, or expect. So join us today. I'd love to see you soon.